When I filmed this opening shot, I thought it was going to be hilarious. So I'll let you decide whether you want to take any of my advice or listen to my thoughts on walking poles for the rest of the video based on that. So here you can see just a quick simple shot of me popping the walking pole off my backpack and how quick and easy it is to extend to its full length. And there's not really much to say about the actual construction of the poles themselves. Obviously, different brands and styles may vary in mechanism slightly or overall look, but broadly speaking, they're collapsible poles that can be easily stored and are nice and lightweight. So I am 36 now. I've been using walking poles for over a year, and I've got to say they have been an absolute revelation. I can't say whether these would help you with any of your aches and pains or not, but for me, I feel that they've really gone a certain way to take some of the sting out of a lot of my heavy-footed declining steps coming down mountains after recent years led me to be in significant pain by the end of a walk. Just thought I'd show you these slotted onto different bags here for reference. Now, although I don't use these in general when I'm walking on flat ground, there's certainly a lot of people out there who do and feel they get some benefit from it. Now, I'm not a doctor and I don't claim to know anything about anything, so I'm not going to give you any medical advice. But something in that theme that I do think is that potentially, if you think of someone who uses a normal walking stick in day-to-day life, perhaps these are filling some sort of more outdoorsy, adventurous role of a walking stick. There's another great benefit to these that goes beyond using them in the style of a walking stick, and that is basically having an extra set of tentacles really to prod at land that you're about to put your actual foot on. And this is particularly prominent in, I would say, partly the area that I do a lot of my walking in North Wales, where you've got a lot of quite flat, mushy hilltops and some very, and I mean very boggy land if you're following certain paths on certain hilltops. And being able to basically poke at the land with these and go, yes, my foot is unlikely to disappear into the murk if I tread there. But also, especially with these baskets, and you can see these ones are new because I've actually lost both of the baskets off my the previous baskets I had on these walking poles. Obviously, this end will go immediately through any marshy ground like a knife through butter. But then just this larger surface area immediately gives you that little bit more resistance. So if you are wibbling and wobbling crossing marshy land, then something like this can definitely be the difference in many cases between a very muddy, wet back and getting home relatively sensibly and possibly slightly drier. Now, even I am not prepared to walk up a mountain just to do a 2-minute video clip to camera, but this little piece here, a bit of a rocky decline into the river. Of course, the lower the water level gets out, the more rocks are exposed. But this is a good example of when I find these particularly useful for me. Because my knees started to really hurt on declines in particular, on long, proper, good mountain walks, I found that I could take out some of the sting of dropping down big steps on uneven terrain. I could take some of that impact out of my legs by leaning more weight into these. So I'm not going to be able to give you a proper example, and I don't even know how I would go about setting the camera up for that. But for argument's sake here, if I'm coming down a significant decline or a steep decline, as I'm stepping forwards, I'm often putting a bit more weight to test and take the strain. So instead of bouncing and coming straight down full weight on my knee, I'm coming down with some weight already taken off into the walking poles. And that's where I think, depending on the sort of environment and sort of hillside you're walking down, it can massively alter how much you use the poles and how much weight and strain goes into your arms and, as I say, maybe your triceps, for example, that I've certainly felt on some particular occasions after a good walk. This is definitely not their intended use, by the way. Although this isn't necessarily how you would envision using these poles on a mountaintop like I normally use them, I just wanted to put this in as a over-the-top extreme example of uneven, slippy and wet terrain as I'm walking across the algae and moss-covered stones freshly exposed by the receding waters of the River Dee after winter. And here you can see the big final step across. I actually put a significant amount of weight into those poles so I don't risk jumping across, having all my weight land on my feet and my feet go beneath me. Something else that I want to quickly mention here as a brief rant against myself and my own opinion of walking poles is that for years I watched my friend using these to go up hills and thought to myself, flipping heck, why does he want to add even more weight and extra hassle and something else to carry literally to a mountaintop and back? And of course, once I started using them, I was like, you know what, I like these a lot, I take it all back. But the thing that really got to me, I think, is that when I started to realise I was looking at these as extra weight and hassle when I myself was carrying things like big heavy torches and completely unnecessary things quite often in my backpack that weigh far more than these to mountaintops and back. And equally, when you consider that you yourself in this video have seen these break down to be stored in a space maybe less than a third of the length they currently are, and not only that, but with a lot of backpacks, especially the sort of backpacks that me as an outdoors general interested person happens to own, have literally got all of these little tags and stuff for storing these. So I had as little hassle and as easy a set of options, even if I didn't use them, to just grab a pair of these for between 20 and 30 quid off Amazon for argument's sake, and then go, right, I'll just put them on my bag, and if I don't use them, then, well, it could be worse. I could have been carrying a giant heavy torch with a load of batteries up to a mountaintop with me. So, in summary, as I make my way back across these treacherous stones, after all my years of skepticism, I now feel like I'm a bit of a fool for not trying them out earlier, especially once my knee issues had begun, because even if it's a placebo effect, I at least at the moment genuinely believe that they have helped me with my wear and tear and the impact on my knees, as I say, especially on the declines of mountains. And perhaps I'm overusing the poles that might lead me to other problems, I don't know. But all in all, that, combined with the fact they're so easy to store, as you're about to see me rapidly break one down and put it back on the external of my backpack, the fact that you've got all of these extra benefits of how handy they are as a prodding device for the very marshy, flat, wet hilltops, especially in my local area, well, I just absolutely love them, and I cannot believe it's something that's taken me so long to get into using regularly. Right, I'll leave some Amazon links in the description below, but until the next time, my friends, keep it interesting, keep it walk-worthy, keep it boat-worthy, and of course, my friends, have a fantastic day and farewell.